All right, one of the best brands in college, women's college soccer right now is the big OSU brand, and Cowgirls getting ready for a huge game coming up at Neil Patterson Stadium on Friday night at 7 p.m. with the TCU Horned Frogs. They're 2-0-1. The Cowgirls are 3-0-1. And joining us now, the head coach of the Cowgirls, Colin Carmichael. And Coach, again, it's great to be unbeaten, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that are still playing this fall that would love to be in our shoes. So although we were a little bit disappointed in the tie down in Waco, it's better than a loss. And so we're now just really excited to hopefully get the opportunity to be unbeaten again at the end of Friday night's game.
And we talked about that the other day. You were in doing the show downtown with Tom Dorado at TV 31, and I watched the match. And in fact, it was great to have the match to watch because they really do mean on Friday nights they don't want you to leave the hotel if you're there with the team. You pretty much got to stay in place, and so I got some dinner to in my room to take with me, and sat in there and watched the Cowgirls and Baylor, and I found myself being frustrated because Baylor plays. I don't want to accuse them of anything. They don't really play to win. They play to tie, and that's one reason their record I think is 0-1-3. Is their tie is kind of the result they're looking for. If they get a win, they're happy, but they're definitely not going to get a loss. They're going to at least make sure you don't score.
Yeah, they're definitely set up to be disruptive, to frustrate, to deny the other team the chance to play, and they're good at it. They're very good at defending and not giving you time and space to play and not giving you too many open looks at goal. So we knew that going in, and we knew part of the challenge we had was dealing with our physicality and being able to create chances to score. And it was interesting. The first half, we felt like we did a pretty good job of that. We had probably 5 or 6 really good looks at goal and just didn't finish. So second half, I think things swung a little bit in their favor, and they were able to frustrate us a little bit more, and they started creating a few chances of their own. So, it's always the same with Baylor. They're physical, they're athletic, they're disruptive, they're tough. But going in that you're going to have to deal with those things. And, in Waco, it's a little bit harder than it is if you get them at home, just given the dimensions of their field and things like that. So, like I said, all told, after watching the video, I thought our kids played reasonably well. We didn't play our best game, but I thought we did enough to win the match, and maybe we're a little bit unfortunate not to come out with the W.
Cowgirls are going to have a lot of conference and potential national honor players at the end of this season, and I know it's great to have a defensive stalwart like Kim Rodriguez in front of you, and I know Allie Jackson's been playing a lot, and Hannah Russell and so on, but we don't really talk much, and we in the past we've talked a ton about goalkeepers, but I did want to mention Emily Plotz because watching every second of the last two matches, um, she's been really good. I mean, I know that one goal against West Virginia, to me that was almost, I don't know that I can blame the keeper on that. But just watching her play and her, not only that, her defensive prowess, but also her assistance in trying to get the ball moving forward for the offense. I think she's been really sharp.
She has. The best thing Emily has brought, the couple of words I'd use to describe her: consistency and calmness. She doesn't get flustered. She always looks relaxed. She always looks in control. And certainly late in that game against Baylor, when they were playing some dangerous balls into our 18 and putting our defense and goalkeeper under a little bit of pressure, she stood firm. So, she hasn't had too many times in the games so far where she's had to make the big spectacular save that everybody talks about, but she's done her job and she's been able to, handle those routine type of plays without making, glaring errors. And I agree with you, the West Virginia goal, she could have done better by her own admission, but it certainly wasn't, a glaring error. It was just a really difficult ball to deal with, and she's been really good. So we're hopeful that continues, and we've been really pleased with how well she's done since she came into our program.
Yeah, it means you don't fire the keeper coach either.
Can we do that anyway since it's Justin?
No, man, we don't
Just
want to do
kidding.
that.
Just kidding. Just
Justin's too valuable. I was just
he
teasing him.
is. There's no question.
Um, all right, here's another question that it kind of came up in our conversation the other day. I think Tom had asked you about it. This was before you guys started taping. People kind of forget. I mean, the NCAA has already postponed and pushed off national tournaments until next spring. The Big 12, which I think was the right decision, chose to play a season this fall. The girls are, it's like you said, hey, the girls want to compete. We want to compete. If we can pull this off, let's do it. But it does put you in a situation where potentially um, you could be in for a year-round season, which that just kind of goes with all the craziness that we've experienced with 2020 and with COVID-19. In that you may be coming back in the spring, may have to play a few more games in order to qualify. I would imagine if you're the conference champion, that will carry over to next year for whatever playoffs the NCAA puts out there. But there's still a lot of questions to be answered, even after you finish your schedule for this year.
Yeah, that it's interesting. I was just speaking with Karen about that yesterday. We were talking about the spring and potential schedule and things like that. So our whole focus really right now has just been on navigating the fall season because there's so many things, testing and COVID related and all the craziness going on there. Never mind trying to prepare for games every week. So we've been so focused on just trying to get our kids through, mid to late November safely and get all these games in and compete. So we're now just starting to look at the spring and what that might mean for us. So, we'll like you said, if we win the Big 12, if we win this 9-game round robin this fall, we would be the automatic qualifier for the NCAA tournament in April. So our job in the spring would be to play X number of games to make sure our team's ready to compete. If we don't win the round robin this fall, but we do have a pretty good record, say, 6-2-1 or something like that, we'd certainly be in line for a potential at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, and that would mean we would need to play, X number of games in the spring and maybe a couple of quality opponents from another conference if it's possible to solidify a spot in that tournament. So it's a crazy year. It's a unique season. We made our conference and our administration made the decision to play this fall, and I 100% believe that's the right decision. And once we get through November, we will really take a hard look at the spring. And there's a lot of factors. Medical advice is still going to be a huge factor. I don't think COVID all of a sudden is going to disappear. So there's going to be a lot of factors on if we can play non-conference games, if we can play more than one game a week. Budget will come into it. Do we have the funds available still to go play some quality opponents, or do we need to play a very regional schedule? So a lot of questions, but we're starting to think about that and take a hard look at it. And whatever happens, we just want to put our kids in a position that if that NCAA tournament goes ahead in April, that we're in it, and we want to have a chance to compete in it.
Yeah, and the best thing is, and you can tell your team this, the best thing is for us to win the Big 12. Then no matter what, you've got an invite to any postseason. Plus, you'd be a golden opponent for anybody out there that's trying to earn their way in. Because let's play the Big 12 champion. Because if we can play, heck, if we tie them, that's a plus. So wouldn't that be the scenario? I mean, obviously the scenario is to always win, but that would really kind of buoy and make it easier for you to schedule in the spring too. I would think.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Other teams are going to be doing what we're doing. When what we don't know as well is what the other conferences are going to see in the spring. The SEC, they're going to play some games. Is it going to be another conference only, or are they going to tell their teams to go play non-conference games? What's the Pac-12 going to do in the Big Ten? Are they just going to play each other, or are they going to be open to, outside competition? And a lot of that has to do with testing protocols. Can we play Tulsa and ORU right down the street, or are their conferences not going to allow it? And are they testing like we are? So just so many unknowns, but we're definitely starting to look at it. Yeah, the easiest thing for us is just to win this fall series and get ourselves into the NCAA tournament. And I knowing Coach Holder, he'll he'll support us if we're in that tournament. He's going to want us to win it, so he'll do. I think he would be on board with whatever it takes to try to give our kids the best chance to compete in that tournament for sure.
Now let's wrap it up talking about TCU tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Neil Patterson Stadium. I'm assuming we're still talking 25% capacity. We're still talking about an hour before kick. The ticket office opening up and folks being able to queue up and get seats somewhere within the social spacing that's allowed in Neil Patterson Stadium. And then you got to worry about the Horned Frogs. They're 2-0-1, ranked 12th in the country. So here's another showdown for your team here at home.
Yeah, I think all the protocols at MPS are the same. To my knowledge, nothing's changed there. So hopefully we'll get a similar crowd and basically capacity, reduced capacity, but every ticket sold like it was for West Virginia. That was a great atmosphere for us. So hopefully we'll have the same thing. And yeah, we're really focused on TCU. We're very good friends with their coaching staff. They've done a great job building that program each year. They just seem to take one more step forward. They've been to the NCAAs the last, I think, 3 years, and they've been in the Big 12 championship game twice. So they're really pushing to become one of those teams that wins championships in the Big 12, and they feel like they have their best team right now. So very good team, very well coached, a couple of special players. They have Emily Alvarado, their goalkeeper, has started games for the Mexican full national team. So she and Kim Rodriguez from our team are pretty good friends. But Emily's a terrific goalkeeper. They've got an attacking midfielder named Yasmin Ryan from Norman, who we recruited like crazy, and she chose to go down to TCU, and she's developing into a star. And Messiah Bright, their all Big 12 forward, is about, she's kind of like G for us. She's very athletic and scores goals. So they got some real special players and a very good team. So it's going to be, I would envision this being very similar to that West Virginia game, a very high-level game, and probably pretty evenly matched, and it could come down to just a little special moment or a little bit of execution on the night to win the game.
And again, I'm looking, four goals scored and none, so they have been very good on the defensive end as well. I'm going to trust. Was their tie against Baylor? It was, wasn't it?
Yep, you nailed it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In fact, I think it may have been their opener.
It was. Yeah, they tied down in Waco 0-0 as well. So they probably had a similar experience to us.
Yeah, that's interesting. Again, folks, you can an hour before if you want to get in. Hopefully you will. Last time West Virginia did not take many of the visiting tickets, and I don't know what'll happen. There'll probably be a few more taken by the folks from TCU for friends and family, but certainly worth the investment to go out and watch the Cowgirls, ranked number 4 in the country against 12th ranked TCU in a Big 12 battle of unbeaten. So, hey, Colin, I always appreciate the time and look forward to seeing that game tomorrow night.
Sounds great, Robert. Thanks a lot.
All right, Colin Carmichael, head coach of the Cowgirls.